Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Accidental Beauty. If you're new, welcome. My name is Laura. I'm a self-taught makeup enthusiast. I mainly post makeup related content, but occasionally I'll branch out into other areas of beauty. Today I am so excited to be sharing with you guys these single shadows that I bought from Devinah Cosmetics. I bought them completely with my own money. This video is not sponsored at all, although I wish it was. So Devinah, if you want to, hit me up, that'd be cool. But no, my presence isn't big enough for brands to notice me, unfortunately. So yeah, I completely bought these with my own money, and I'm just so excited to share my experience with you. So there are 12 shadows that I bought. 7 of these are from the Xploders collection, and those ones are like very glittery multi-chrome shadows, multi-chrome duochrome shadows. These 3 down here are kind of like grungier multi-chromes, and then 2 matte shadows. If you want to see my whole unboxing, first impression, swatches, review, everything, then please keep on watching. So I'm going to be swatching all of these on my eyes. I've got one eye primed with the highlighting side of the NYX Wonder Stick, and my other eye is unprimed. Editing Laura here, I just want to add, this is the old way that I used to swatch eyeshadows. The way that I currently swatch eyeshadows is by taking the NYX glitter primer, and this works especially well for glittery or multi-chrome, duochrome, metallic eyeshadows, but I filmed this a while ago, so this is the old way that I used to do things. I just find it's really effective in showing the difference in pigmentation between putting an eyeshadow directly on your unprimed eye like no other products versus having some sort of eyeshadow base. Generally it shows up a lot more pigmented on a primed surface, but that's not always the case. So I just want to show the difference in pigmentation. When I swatch everything on my arm, I don't prime it because this isn't for Instagram or anything. That's just to kind of show you the potential of how much you can build up an eyeshadow. I will have a list of all the products that I'm wearing on my face, as well as links to where you can buy all the eyeshadows that I'll be talking about in this video in the description box below. I do this with every single one of my videos, so if you're curious about a product, it should be all there. If not, then let me know and I will let you know what it is. Let's talk about the ordering process and shipping, and then I'll do the unboxing, and then we can get into swatches. I'll also leave timestamps below in case you're not interested in hearing about all that, or you've ordered from them before and you kind of know the drill. But this is my first time ever ordering from Devinah. I've heard about them for a while now, mostly from AmyLovesMakeup and Angelica Nyqvist. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Nyqvist? I don't speak Swedish. Anyways, from Amy and Angie, I'll link their channels below. They are just fantastic YouTubers. I really enjoy their content, and they pretty much convinced me to buy from Devinah. So I'm really excited to try this stuff out because I trust their recommendations a lot. Let's talk about the ordering process because I did something a little odd. So I made 2 orders. I've got 2 boxes here. So basically the story is I really just wanted 2 matte eyeshadows from Devinah. I wanted Tosca, which is like supposed to be like a nice sort of light mustard yellow, and then I wanted Remy, which is a blue-based purple. Those were the only 2 eyeshadows that I wanted from them. However, shipping was, I think it was about $10 US, and each of the eyeshadows are about $5. And at the time, I was ordering Tosca, and Remy was sold out. So I was just going to order Tosca and just wait until Remy came back in stock. So I was ordering a $5 eyeshadow and expected to pay about $10 to $12 for shipping. And I was like, heck no. So I added a couple other things to my order. I'm pretty sure what I did was I ordered Tosca, and then I was looking through Devinah's site to see if anything else caught my fancy. And I found the, what do they call them? The Xploders, I think? The Galaxy Xploders or the Willy Wonka something. I guess I'll find out when I find my packing slip. It was a bunch of duochromes that I saw, and I am obsessed, or maybe they're multi-chromes actually. Anyways, I am obsessed with duochromes, tri-chromes, multi-chromes, like all of that. I just love anything that shifts colors, and they're just so beautiful to look at. And I had looked at, I believe it was AmyLovesMakeup's swatching video of these, and they just look so pretty on her eyes, and I'm not quite as pale as her, but I figured they'd show up sort of similarly on me. I think she also has green eyes, if I can remember. Maybe she has hazel eyes. Anyways, we sort of have similar-ish coloring, so I figured the shades would look good on me as well. Those ones were on pre-order. I have a suspicion that they were probably made to order, so the pre-order period was a certain amount of time because they're not new products. They've been around for a while. So I gather that Devinah kind of only makes as much as they sort of feel like they need at a time because they are a pretty small company. I think it's just a husband and wife who run it. So the pre-order period was, I don't know, I think it was a couple months or something. So it said pre-order, and then I think it said it would ship out within a month. So I guess they sort of had like a month where they are accepting orders, and then they'll produce them for however many people ordered within that period. It took a while for it to actually ship out, which wasn't an issue because they said that it would take that amount of time. So I was like, okay, fine. And because I ordered Tosca with those other shadows, they all would ship together. It was fine. I didn't really care. And in case people are interested, I did use a discount code for that one. I think it's the one that they give people for like their first time ordering. So I got something like 20% off. And then literally like 2 days or 3 days later or something, 4 days later, Remy came back in stock, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And because I had ordered from Devinah, they basically gave me like a, you know, thank you for ordering. Next time you order from us, use this discount code and you can get like 20 some odd % off. So I was like, okay, great. I can't remember if I was like adding things to my cart or what, but they kept increasing the amount of money that they would give me off. I ended up placing an order for Remy, but again, because it was only like $5 or $6 and shipping was about $10, I added a couple other sort of like duochrome, multi-chrome shadows because they looked really pretty. And yeah, I ended up using the like 30% or whatever discount that they sent me. Okay, so this is the first order that I made, which actually came second. So I ordered this one June 14th. This was the pre-order, and it arrived July 27th. And then this is the second order that I made, which actually arrived first. So this one I ordered on June 18th, so 4 days after the first order. And then this one arrived July 21st. So it took a while to get here. They came about a week apart. They're based in Salem, Oregon, which, I mean, I live in Toronto, Canada. To ship things shouldn't really take that long, but again, they're a small company and they are gaining a bit more popularity, so I'm not surprised if it just takes them a while to get through things because they are probably, I think, about a 2-person team. So I'm not mad. Like I kind of expected, especially with everything happening with coronavirus and just postage and everything being delayed, I'm not surprised that it took a while. I mean, I was like impatient just because I was excited to play with these, but it didn't bother me so much. And I imagine that shipping would be a bit quicker if postal services and everything, and even just like suppliers for, you know, these makeup companies, for example, if everything was kind of moving normally, if like production schedules and mail delivery times were running normally and at full capacity, I imagine shipping would be a bit quicker, but just wanted to let you know. So let's open these up because I'm so excited. So, you know what? I'm going to do the smaller one first because I'm actually, it says on the side, no, this is the big one. It says on the side that there's only 2 shadows in here. I know that I ordered 4, so I'm a little worried about this one, but it could be they just put like the 2 on here. I don't know. So let's just open it up and find out. All right, so, okay, good. We have a packing slip in here. It's got, oh, there's a little note. Okay, so we have my packing slip and it's got all 4 shadows listed on here, so that's good. I was getting worried. Okay, what does this say? Oh, cool. Okay, so it says hand-pressed, cruelty-free with vegan options, the ingredients that they use, hand-blended. Thank you, we appreciate your support. And then they like encourage people to share photos of their haul with the hashtag Devinah Cosmetics, and then you know, save 15% on your next order. If you have damaged products, email photos within 24 hours and they'll sort it out. All right, so we have tons of packing peanuts in here, which is amazing. And then it looks like everything's wrapped in bubble wrap as well. So let's just, oh my God. It's like this whole box is filled with packing peanuts, and then looks like my order is just these little tiny things in here. But that's great that they're packed so securely. I really, really appreciate that. Several rolls of bubble wrap. Wow, these are packed really securely. I really appreciate that. Oh my God, and look at this. Wow, that is beautiful. Look at these little sleeves. I don't know if you can tell, they've got this holographic text. I love that. That is beautiful. And it's like got all these like cruelty free, these little like this handmade stamp. It says quality, purity, performance, distributed by Devinah Cosmetics, hand blended, hand pressed, Los Angeles, California. So the shades that I have here, and then I'm going to put everything into a magnetic palette. So this is I'm Just a Dandelion. I feel like that's a reference to something, but I don't get it. Next is Malachite. This shift is, oh, this is beautiful. This is Morphinae. I feel like a lot of these are references to something that I do not understand, but really unique names. And then this is Remy, the perfect shade of like cool toned, lavender leaning purple. This is like my favorite shade of purple, and I'm so excited to get this. I've wanted this particular eyeshadow for so long, and it's always sold out. And then when it comes back in stock, it like disappears the next day because I think it's just such a popular shade. So I'm really excited to add this to my collection. But also like these other shades, these beautiful shifts. I'm so excited to play with these. So that's package number 1 done. All right, so now I'm gonna unbox the big boy. Okie doke. So same little like info thing about the company, and then I have my packing slip. So let's just leave that there. Again, we have all the packing peanuts, and then my order is in this stack. All right, so the shades that I have in here are, so I guess 7 of these are from the Xploders collection, and then 1 is just the matte shade Tosca. So what do we have here? We have Kazoogles, Marshmallow Pillows, Swudge, Everlasting Gobstoppers, Runts, Pixie Sticks, Nerds. Okay, so that's everything from the Xploders. I believe those are all named after candies. And then we have the matte yellow shade. This is Tosca. So now I'm going to open them up. I'm going to put them in this magnetic palette. This is from Shop Miss A. I'll link it below if you're interested. Alright, so let's move on to the eye swatches. Alright, so now it's time to swatch. I'm really excited. So I'm going to use this flat brush. It's a little bit big. This is a Morphe M166, but use whatever you have in your collection. And let's get to swatching. So I'm going to zoom right in. Hello. Okay, so the first shade I'm going to use is I'm Just a Dandelion. It is a dark teal. Doesn't have too much of a shift. Actually, I don't know if it really does have a shift. Kind of looks like a straight up metallic dark turquoise. And I noticed some of these shadows have Devinah's, there is a name for that, basically like the D of their logo embossed directly into the pan. Most of them don't. They just have kind of that, kind of a line, rows of line texture. So for me personally, I prefer no sort of texture or image or anything embossed into my eyeshadows. I just prefer them plain. I know, like, for me personally, when I looked at these eyeshadows on Devinah's website, that texture was kind of a turnoff for me because it's just kind of distracting to the eye, and I just kind of want to see what the color looks like itself without any texture or images or text or anything embossed in there. That's just me personally. At the same time, that does mean that Devinah eyeshadows are very recognizable for that texture. So pros and cons. For me personally, I don't love the texture, but the colors are so beautiful. It's really not that much of a turn off in person, but it is quite distracting when I see Devinah eyeshadows like on their website or on social media. All right, so let's zoom back in and get to swatching. And let's try the unprimed side first. And I separated them just so they're easy to get at. So I'm gonna dip my brush in. I don't think I'll be able to use this just on its own, but we will find out. Picked up quite a bit on the brush actually. Oh, wow, okay. So this is the unprimed side. That is a stunning color. Like, this is just one application. Okay, so just to intensify it, I'm just gonna use my finger. Where are we? Oh my god, that is beautiful. That is a stunning color. Oh my god, I am so excited to wear these eyeshadows out. There's definitely a dark base in here. I find some really pigmented eyeshadows like this, they kind of make my eyes look smaller. They kind of like, it's like when you apply a lot of black eyeliner or eyeshadow or something like that, you kind of get that like raccoon look, and I really don't find that at all with this. Let's try it on the primed side. Wow, these actually apply really nicely with a brush. Okay, I'll just go in with my finger again just to kind of top it off. Like, these are so pigmented on their own that you don't need a lot to build it up. It's interesting. This side looks like there's almost like a navy shift to it, and this side looks like there's like a light green shift to it. Oh, this is just so beautiful. So this is I'm Just a Dandelion. So let's move on to the next color, which I believe is Malachite. These are really hard for my camera to focus on because they're so reflective. I'll try and give you an idea of what this color looks like. It's showing much more green on camera, and it does have kind of a bluey green shift to it. It doesn't seem to really be showing up that well, especially because my camera can't seem to focus. There we go. So you can kind of see it like when I turn. For the most part, it's showing the light green that you see if you look at it straight on, shining a light directly on it. I mean, it picked up a little bit. So unprimed first. Oh my god, you guys, this is so pretty. You could do such a cool grungy look with this. It's just like a beautiful muddy green. Okay, so we have a little bit of kick up, but maybe that's just because of the ridges that it's just kind of disrupting the pattern, because it doesn't seem to be like falling out. The shade is also very glittery, but like they're very, very fine particles. This looks like kind of like a yellowy green, but I feel like there's almost like a reddish brown undertone or something. Like it's like a swampy green, but like in the best way. It's a really interesting color, so I'm gonna just put a little bit on my finger. Oh my god, just intensify that beauty. All right, and let's put some on my primed side. The thing that I'll note about these shadows is they pick up really, really nicely on a brush, which you don't often see. Same thing with the first shadow, I'm Just a Dandelion. The lighter, sort of like warmer, yellowier tones are coming out a lot more prominently on the unprimed side, whereas on the primed side, I don't see as much of that yellow, but I do see more of kind of like the brownish, almost like dark bluish shades, those undertones. So like it looks like I'm wearing two different eyeshadows, but they're actually the same. It's very interesting. So this is Malachite. Oh, another thing that I'll note is I'm noticing that even though there's like a tiny bit of residue left on my brush, pretty much most of it comes straight off from the brush onto my eye, so that's really great too. Let's move on to this one. It is showing up super turquoise on camera, but it's actually in person, I can't even get it to show up how it normally does. It's actually like a sort of pinky purple. I think this one is kind of like a tri-chrome. Okay, if I go like this, you can kind of see what it actually looks like in sort of direct light. It kind of shifts from like a teal to a pink to a purple. I guess like sort of the in-between shade is a purple as it goes from pink to blue. A lot of it picked up on my brush. Yeah, it's showing up turquoise. All right, let's see how it applies on my eye. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's applying very sort of bluey purple. This is such an interesting color because it did not look like this in the pan. And it shows up really, really pigmented. I don't even need my finger, but I'll just do it for shits and gigs. Yeah, oh wow, that is so cool. So you can sort of see as I turn my finger, you can kind of see a little bit of the purple like at the corners, but it's pretty much showing up teal. I would almost describe this as like an oil slick color. That's what it looks like. It's got that really deep, dark purple or even a black base. It's actually, I think it's a dark purple base. Beautiful color, like so grungy. Like, oh, a lot of these shades I can definitely see doing like really grungy goth kind of makeup looks. I'm so excited. And let's do the prime side now. So beautiful. I am getting more blue tones on this side, purple tones on this side. Double up with my finger. But I mean, the shades look pretty similar on both eyes compared to the other two, which looked more different. These look pretty similar. So this is Morphinae. So the next shade is a matte one. We're going into Remy. I've already kind of dug my nail into it by accident when I was looking for the last shade. So I'm really upset about that because this one is my favorite color in general and just probably my favorite color out of all. How many do we have here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of these. The show must go on. So let's see how this applies with just a brush. Look at how much product that picked up. I mean, come on. That is beautiful. So I imagine, oh, there is quite a bit of kick up on here. I don't know if it's showing up at all. 1 or 2 dips in the pan pretty much destroys the ridged pattern, which I don't really care, but if you enjoy that kind of thing, the ridges aren't gonna last. Really pigmented. It looks a little bit muddy. Actually, on camera, it's really not showing up that bad. In person, it looks a little bit muddy. So let's try it on the eyeshadow base. No, you really can't see the kick up. Okay, so it's already way more pigmented, which I expected. On the eyeshadow base, it also looks a little less muddy, I think. It also looks a little more blue toned. I don't know if it's showing up that well on camera. In person, you can definitely see a difference. The prime side is way more pigmented and less transparent and more opaque than the unprimed side. So this is Remy. Alright, so next is the shade Kazookles. It's really not showing up on camera. Okay, if I go like this, you can kind of see it. It's this one over here. Now it's showing up a little bit better. It's showing up way more like a darker purple. In person, it looks like it's a pastel, sort of cool tone purple that shifts to a warm tone pink. Okay, this one really did not pick up on my brush very well. I'm just gonna use my fingers for it. Okay, yeah, if I dim down the lights, that is showing up pretty true to color, I think. Looks a bit more lavenderish on camera. In person, it's got more of a pink shift. For the primed side, I'm just gonna use my finger. I'm not even gonna bother with a brush. Oh my god, that pigment. That is stunning. This might be one of my favorites so far. So this is Kazookles. I think for the rest of these, I might have to keep my light turned down because they're all showing up pretty true to color. Then if I turn up my light, yeah, it kind of washes out a lot of the pastels. All right, so the next shade that we're gonna dip into is Marshmallow Pillows. It's this one. That is pretty accurate to what the color looks like. It seems to come off pretty well on the brush. It actually looks pretty blue. This has a pretty cool bluish pink shift, so let's see how it applies on the eye. Oh, wow. Oh my god. Okay, so you just see that sort of bluish shift. This is a really interesting color. This is exactly the color I've been looking for. You don't see too much of the pink, whereas in the pan, if you look at it like, this is how it looks like when I look at it straight on, and it looks super pink. Like it just looks like a purple blue duochrome. This sort of reminds me a little bit of JD Glow Anomaly, although that one's more purpley, this one's more pink. Just using my fingers to kind of pat on a little bit more, but like there's so much pigment in here. Wow. So let's try on the primed side. Oh my god, that is stunning. It's like perfection in an eyeshadow. I love this so much. These shifts are everything. And what's interesting is maybe it's just the angle that I'm sitting at, but this side, the unprimed side, actually looks way more pigmented and has more of that purpley shift than this side, which looks lighter and kind of has more of that pink shift. Either way, it's a stunning, stunning color. So this is Marshmallow Pillows. The rest of this is the Xploders collection, except for Tosca. I'm just gonna kind of go here, do the rest of them, and then Tosca will be last. So the next shade is, this one is Swatch. So this one isn't like super picking up on the brush. Like each one is just blowing me away. Okay, yeah, this is gonna have to be a finger situation. Look at that. Like it shows up completely differently on my eye, but then like, look at that turquoise. This pigmentation is ridiculous. I don't know if like the purpliness is showing up on camera. I feel like it just looks kind of teal. All of these are perfection. Like I love this. I'm having so much fun. Definitely excited to play around with these some more. You're definitely seeing a lot more of the duochrome on the unprimed side. This side doesn't look as duochromy. I mean, there's like a bit of a shift, but like this one kind of seems to have more dimension. Yeah, it's interesting. You definitely get more of that kind of like pretty sparkle on the unprimed side. The primed side looks more smooth, looks kind of like molten metal, if that makes sense, whereas this side is like more glittery, more shifty. So I guess this is a situation where I wouldn't use eye primer, although I might use some sort of like sticky base because I could definitely see these wearing or transferring throughout the day. That tends to happen a lot on my eyelids on the unprimed side, which is interesting. So this one is Swatch. Next shade is Everlasting Gobstoppers. It's this guy. It's a light blue with a pink shift. The last one was also a light blue, slightly darker, but that one had more of a like purpley shift. All right, so let's pick it up and see how it looks on the eye. Yeah, not too bad on the brush. Oh, okay, so it's kind of more green. I'm just gonna use my fingers again for this one. On camera, it looks teal. And then in person, as I shift it, it kind of moves from like a teal to a pink with a little bit of green in the shadows. But then when I apply it on my eye, it's almost like a light blue with a green shift. All right, let's do the unprimed side. I'm just gonna skip the brush completely. Oh my God, like each shade is blowing me away even more than the last one. This is so pretty. Okay, so this one applies pretty similarly between primed and unprimed. I'd say the unprimed side maybe looks a little bit more green, but in general, they look pretty close to each other. This is Everlasting Gobstoppers. Next shade is Runts. Looks purple in the pan, but then it shifts kind of like a greeny orange. I don't know how else to describe it. So let's see how it applies. Not too much picks up on the brush, but yeah, this is going to be another finger swatch situation. Look at that. So it looks like purple with like a white shift. How does it look on the eye? It's like purple with almost a pinky red shift, but then there's like a bit of a blue shift in there too. Oh my God, that is beautiful. I just smeared it all over. Okay, so that just looks like straight up purple with a pink shift, and it swatches fantastically with fingers. Oh my God, look at that. So I feel like this one is kind of similar to Kazookal's, although I think this one's a bit lighter. When I swatch them on my arm, I guess we can compare. So this one also looks a bit more opaque and a bit more dimensional on the unprimed side, which is quite interesting. So this one is Runts. This one is Pixie Sticks. Okay, that's a little more true to color. Picked up pretty well on the brush. It's got like a yellow shift It reminds me a lot of the duochrome pink shade that's in the Juvia's Place Zulu palette. It's really cool. Okay, let's try it on the unprimed side. I'm gonna see if I can build it up after with my finger. I'm super impressed with these. I guess depending on the angle and the way the light hits it, it does look a little bit pink on the sides. I'm curious if I paired this with other eyeshadow shades, if the pink tones will come out a bit more. So this one is Pixie Sticks. Next is Nerds. This is the last shade in the Xploders collection. Looks like a light blue, and it looks like it's got kind of a yellowy green shift. Seem to pick up pretty well on the brush. This looks like a similar situation to Pixie Sticks, except this one shows up more green and then obviously has the blue base. Okay, and let's do the other eye. Okay, so it definitely is starting to look more blue now that I've kind of layered it, but you can totally see that sort of yellowy green shift that I was talking about. This one is kind of more of like a basic, if you want to call it that, a basic duochrome, in that the shift isn't too dramatic. Unlike some of these other ones where it shifts to kind of a more like surprising color, this one is a bit less of like a contrast, but still gorgeous. So this is Nerds. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to go into Tosca, which is the other matte shade. Looks like a very like a cool tone mustard shade. Wow, picks up really nicely on the brush. Okay, let's apply that. I think I was expecting something a little bit warmer based on the pictures on the website. Still a really pretty color. You know, going off of first impressions, it is very cool toned. Between unprimed and primed, you definitely can see a difference. Like, it is a bit more vibrant on the primed side. And this is Tosca. I'm back. This is the final look. All right, so what am I wearing on my eyes? I basically like whipped up a little look because I didn't want to just be wearing like one flat matte shade, and I wanted to kind of showcase how these look together. I haven't done this in other swatch videos, but I just figured there's 12 shades here, so I might as well do a quick look with them. I have Tosca in my crease. I took Malachite, stuck that on the inner and outer portions of my eyes, leaving the center blank. And then I felt like that didn't have quite enough dimension that I was looking for, so I added Morphinae just on top. In the center of my lid, I took Pixie Sticks and Nerds. Inner corner highlight, I took Kazukul's nose highlight. I took Pixie Sticks again. Cheek highlight, I took Runts. Nerds again on my brow bone. So I only didn't use a couple of them. So I'm really happy actually with the way that this look turned out. This is definitely not a color combination that I would have chosen on my own. So I'm really excited to play with these shadows more, and just like the finish and the The shifts and the texture of these is so unlike anything that I have in my collection, so I'm really, really excited to get creative with these. I'm Just a Dandelion is probably like one of the plainest shades in this collection, just because the other ones of the sort of like duochrome shades, I feel like this has the least shift to it. It's still a gorgeous color. Definitely gonna use this some more. I feel like I could do some really interesting monochrome looks with it. Because there is like almost a reddish purple hint to it, I feel like pairing it with tones like that could bring out more of those shades and just look really interesting, kind of doing a complementary color eye look. So really excited to play with that. I guess I'd give this a 4.5 out of 5, just because in comparison to the other ones, it's not the most exciting, but it's still like there's nothing wrong with it. You know what? I'm gonna give it a 4.75 out of 5 because there's nothing wrong with it. It's like, you know, pigmentation is definitely there. It's beautiful. It doesn't have as much of a wow factor as some of the other shades. All right, moving on. Malachite. This is probably one of the shades that I was most excited about when I ordered it. Those really, really delicious swampy hues, like just perfect for like a grungy type look. So definitely excited to play with that. I give it also a 4.7 out of 5 because again, it doesn't have the same like wow shift that some of the other colors do, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not as exciting, let's say. But like by no means am I disappointed by any of these shades. All right, next one, Morphinae. Such a cool shade, like beautiful color, beautiful shift, beautiful pigmentation. I love it. 5 out of 5. Next one, Remy. As I mentioned earlier, I was really, really excited for this one and it did not disappoint. I could have used maybe a little bit more pigmentation in these matte shades, but they are obviously a different formulation than these like crazy duochromes, which are loaded with pigment. So, you know, just different formula because it's a different type of shadow. Color is exactly, like it's very, very true to the image that's on their website. Yeah, I give it a 5 out of 5 because it's the perfect shade of purple and I love it. Next is Kazookles. This is one of my favorite shades, I think, in this whole collection that I bought. Just such a beautiful shift and gorgeous, gorgeous pigmentation. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite show up on camera the way that it does in real life, but it's absolutely stunning. Like I'm looking at the swatches on my arm here and I'm just like, oh, it's so pretty. 5 out of 5. Next one is Marshmallow Pillows. In some ways, I love it even more than Kazookles because it's also got such a gorgeous, unique shift. And what I love about a lot of these duochromes is the way that they shift to almost like complementary colors, and I really, really love that. I feel like it gives them so much more dimension and makes them look so much more interesting. So I really, really enjoyed that. 5 out of 5. Next one was Swatch. This one also, it looks almost purpley because of the shift. A really, really interesting color, really unique. I love it so much. 5 out of 5. Okay, next one, I believe this is Everlasting Gobstoppers. Eventually I'll learn all these names. This one was nice. It didn't wow me as much, I think, as Swatch. It's pretty. It's a bit more basic, I feel like, because the shift isn't such a dramatic change on the color wheel. So I like it. I think I give it a 4.75 out of 5 because it doesn't have the same wow factor. But otherwise, like pigmentation, like everything else, nothing wrong with it. I love it. Next one is Runts. Really, really pretty as well. Again, doesn't have like quite the wow factor as some of the other ones that I mentioned. So for that reason, I give it a 4.75 out of 5. But again, it's really, really pretty. Pigmentation is there. It's gorgeous. Next one is Pixie Sticks. This has such a cool shift. I really, really love it. This is one of the colors on the center of my lids, and it's just, I wouldn't say it's so unique because there are a lot of companies that do a similar type of color, but the amount of shift I think makes this so unique. As I mentioned, it reminds me a lot of the pink duochrome color in the Juvia's Place Zulu palette. I'll just throw it up on screen so you can see which one I'm talking about. But that one, it still has a bit of that yellow shift, but it is through and through a pink shade, whereas this one, it has such a strong yellowy green shift. You don't see as much of the pink, but like when you turn a certain way, you do see it, and it's so unique. So I love it so much because of that. Definitely 5 out of 5. Second last one is Nerds. Kind of like what I mentioned with Runts and Everlasting Gobstoppers. It's not as exciting a shift. It's blue to green, and because they're next to each other on the color wheel, it's not as dramatic a shift. Even though it's a gorgeous, gorgeous color, I give it a 4.75 out of 5 because it is so beautiful. Pigmentation 100% there, just not as wow. And then the last one is Tosca. This one I was a little bit disappointed by just because I was sort of hoping for a bit of a slightly warmer toned mustard, because that's kind of how it looked on the website. In person, it's a little bit more cool toned, although it's swatched pretty warm. I don't know if you can even see it in this light. It applied a little bit cool tone, but that could be just the other colors that I have on my eyes. I'm thinking if I mix a little bit of a warm tone yellow, I could probably get the exact shade that I wanted. I'm a little disappointed in like the exact hue of yellow, but I am very picky with colors. So yeah, I give it a 4.75 out of 5. Pigmentation is there. As I mentioned with Remy, I wish there was a tiny bit more pigment in the mattes. Like I wish they just kind of showed up with like a punch, but you can totally build them up. Like you can definitely see Tosca in my crease today. Overall, I'm so happy with the collection that I bought. Love the Xploders. I think they're all really cool, unique, beautiful, super pigmented shades. The 2 mattes that I bought, also beautiful. The 3 other colors, the sort of like swampier, grungier, shifty kind of shades that I bought, also beautiful. I love everything about these shades that I bought. I highly recommend you check out Devinah Cosmetics if you haven't already. Definitely recommend buying from them. The shipping is 100% worth it because these shadows are magnificent. I am not affiliated with them. I bought this with my own money. Oh, and they wipe off actually surprisingly easily, although now I have glitter on my body forever. The Xploders collection is very glittery, just like very fine sparkles that are kind of hard to remove. It doesn't super bother me because I really don't care about that stuff, but I know it does bother some people, so just putting that out there. Wiping off my makeup, applying the next color when I was swatching them on my eyes. Some of them definitely left a glittery residue, so just keep that in mind. It will come off eventually. If you use a cream type cleanser or makeup remover, like I use Pond's Cold Cream, that seems to take off most of the glitter, so it won't be stuck to you forever, but just something to keep in mind. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It would really help me out. Just letting YouTube know that you're interested in my content, so it'll show my video as a suggestion or recommendation to other people. And speaking of being interested in my content, if you enjoy my videos and want to see more, I'd really love it if you could subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you'll get an update every time I upload a new video. Again, that would really help me out a lot because I'm really trying to grow my presence across all my social media. So the more people that are seeing my posts, my videos, it really helps tell the algorithm that my content is interesting to people, and then it will show it to more people, and that'll help me out a lot. Speaking of other social media, if you are interested in the looks that I do on my channel, then you'll probably be interested in the looks that I post on Instagram, the short videos that I post on TikTok, so on and so forth. That's your thing. I'd love if you could follow me on those platforms as well. Again, it'll just really help grow my presence. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of these eyeshadows, which one is your favorite. If you've tried any products from Devinah Cosmetics before, let me know in the comment section below. Really happy to have a discussion because I'm just so excited about these eyeshadows and I'd love to talk to other people about how much I love them. So if you guys have tried them out, let me know. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.